Caroline Foster here. I am so excited to be on here with you guys today to talk about growing your warm market, expanding your network, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to give everyone a few minutes to hop on here. Hopefully you got the notification that I am live and you are able to hop on. If you are hopping on live with us today, would you just do me a favor and drop your favorite emoji below? I would love to know that you're on this call and that you are watching live. If you're watching the recording, just drop a 1 here just so I can know who hopped on and who was able to see this training today. Guys, I feel so honored to kick off this training with you guys. I keep wanting to call it a boot camp because that's what we call everything. I feel so honored to kick this off for you guys. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself before I dive into things, for those of you who may have missed the kickoff call last night. So first off, my name is Caroline Foster. I have been a coach on Michelle's team for a little over 4 years now, 4 years in April. So it has been such a rewarding business, not just financially and all of those amazing things, but honestly, just the people in the community that I have had the chance to experience and create here, the friendships. I have found my people. I found the people who love the things that I love, who want to have their family first. And so it's been, or their walk with Jesus first and their family second, and their business last. And it's just been such an amazing community for me. And so I am so excited to be here with you guys. Me and my husband live right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. We have a little girl. Her name's Emmeline. Like I said, I started this business 4 years ago. And when I kicked things off, I had no idea what I was doing. I tried a lot of different things. Let me just give you a little synopsis here. The first year was like, Caroline, no idea what she was doing. I think I started my Instagram and I called it Caroline Foster Fitness for like 2 weeks, 2 months. I kept praying about it and I was like, Lord, where do you want this to go? I was sitting on my porch when I was doing a Beth Moore study at the time, and I was sitting on my porch and I was spending time with Jesus, and I just clearly heard him say, fit for his glory. And so I literally jumped on Instagram, went to see if it was available, changed my Instagram name. You can edit those, by the way. Changed my Instagram name and decided right there and then that I was going to go all in with my brand and with my name. And so I just continued to develop that. Year 2 of my business, I got really caught up in hanging out with a lot of bloggers in my town. It was great because I did learn a lot. But I tried to become a blogger a little too much. So I learned a lot of great things from them, but I got caught up in the shiny stuff so much that I wasn't doing the daily business activities to really grow a business through Instagram. And so that was kind of year 2, really focused on the shiny stuff, not seeing a lot of results in my actual business. Year 3 is when I really felt things just start to take off. I kind of saw the business opportunity we had in front of us. My husband and I were having our first baby. I wanted to stay home. My why was bigger than ever. People saw me go from pregnant, 45 pounds gained, to losing it all and getting fit. And so it's just like when all of that happened, my business took off. And really in the last year is when I have seen substantial growth in my business. And I really believe it's that I stopped focusing on all the shiny stuff. I took what I had learned from that needed to keep happening and kept putting it in place. But I also figured out, how do I run this thing as an actual business? Because that's what it is. And my why became bigger than ever. And so I used that to really fuel what I was doing. So that's a synopsis of what 4 years in the business have looked like for me. And it's really going to impact our topic for today, which is why I'm setting us up with that. So when we talk about expanding your network, there's really 3 things that I want to talk about today. The big thing here is that we're really talking about how do you grow your warm market. So I know firsthand it can be exhausting when you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to, right? It can feel like you just, you're just like, I don't know who else to talk to. I feel like I'm at this wall. But here's the deal. We don't want you to get to that point because we want you to constantly be growing your warm market. And I'll be honest, I think this is something I've done a really good job at. There's an awesome book if you haven't read it. It's called The 4 Color Personalities for MLMs. And I read this and immediately knew that I was the person who is really good at wooing people in. I'm not a wooer. That's not one of my 5 personality traits. But I'm really good at getting people excited about the business and getting them in. And that's what you've got to figure out how to do. And so we're going to focus on 3 things today. By the way, one of my coaches gave me this book and I was like, are you like trying to tell me something? But it's actually been super good for leading my team and really getting to know their personalities. So today we're going to talk about 3 things. So the first thing I want to talk about is in person. How do you grow your warm market in person? And so there's really 4 things that I believe can help you grow your in-person warm market. Sometimes people do things the opposite of this. I'll be honest, when I started my business, I focused on social media first. That was my core. That was where it came from. And then I focused on the actual people in my life. And when I was really focused on social media, I felt very alone. I felt alone in the business. I felt alone just in the pursuit of wanting to be fit and healthy. I felt like no one cared about what I was doing. I felt like no one understood it. I felt like my friends and family were just thinking that I was trying to be like this blogger or be something that I wasn't, because they didn't really know what was going on. I hadn't told them about it. I hadn't invited them into it. And so what I have found is that if you are a person who is putting all of this stuff on social media, but you're not going and doing it with your in-person people first, you're gonna feel empty, because you can't build true community on social media. Like, that is just it. And so if you're listening to this call today and you're like, I've been trying to build this amazing community on social media, yes, that's great. But guess what? That's not what true community is. True community is people that are in your corner. They're people that are there when something bad happens in your life. They're there whenever good stuff's happen. They're at your front door with a meal to love on you. They're there to hear you share your heart about the hard things you're going through. You can't do that with people on social media, okay? Like, yes, you can to a certain extent, but they can't show up at your front door. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need these people first, and that's good too, but the in-person needs to come first. And so there's a lot of ways you can do this, guys. I have coaches on my team who are like, well, I just moved to a brand new town and I don't know anyone, or my husband's in the military and we move every 6 months. I get it, guys, but you can build in-person community, and it's going to be the most rewarding. It's going to be the stuff that gets you the most excited, because those are your people. Those are the people that you get to sweat beside in your garage. You know what I'm saying? And so focus on in-person first. Let's talk about what that could look like. So one of my coaches who is brand new to my team, she is on Instagram. She literally told me, she's like, I have used up my warm market. I'm coming into this, because she had done Beachbody before a couple years ago, about 4 years ago or something. And so she came into this like, I've already exhausted that warm market and I'm basically starting over, and I've got to create a new warm market. And the first thing she did, and I mean, obviously she's posting on social media, she's sharing her story, but the very first thing she did is she jumped on Facebook. She looked for our mommy's group in her town, and she said, hey guys, I'm hosting a free workout this Saturday morning. Come to my house. Let's just sweat together, no strings attached. She created a Facebook event for it. She shared it in that group. In the Facebook event, she posted polls like, hey, what kind of workouts do you like? So we can figure out one for Saturday. She made it apparent that she was not a personal trainer, but that this would just be a chance for them to all do a workout together. And I don't remember exactly how many people showed up, but it was like close to 10 women. She said, you can bring your kids, they can play. Some people brought their kids, the kids played. They worked out together in her home. She opened up her home for complete strangers. But these were women in a mommy's group who were on Facebook, who were in her town. They showed up, and it was awesome. She got to meet new women. She got to connect with women. And the cool thing is that not only is she going to get to share fitness with them, but she might even get to share Jesus with them, which obviously at the end of the day is the ultimate goal, right? And so she got these women in there. She hosted them a local workout. She invited them into her home. And I just think that's so cool because so many times we use excuses. We say, I don't know people. I just moved here, or, whatever, or I only go to the grocery store. I'm a stay-at-home mom. How am I supposed to meet people? She got creative and she started to think about how can I connect with other stay-at-home moms who want community. Recently, we had a girl come to our small group, and my best friend actually met her at the bank. She was literally going through the drive-through, and she was talking to her about how she just had a baby. She might have gone inside. I'm not sure, but she was talking to her about how she had just had a baby, and she's like, "Oh, really? Like my little girl's a year old now." She's like, "Hey, you should come to some mommy groups. We go walking together." She's like, "It's just such a great way to build community." This is the banker telling my best friend that. And my best friend was like, "Well, yeah, that's awesome that you're doing that walkers group, but you should come to our small group. We have a small group of women and we're all moms." And she invited her. And it really got me thinking because we were talking later about how moms crave community, especially if you're not involved in a church. Like, it is hard to find community if you're a stay-at-home mom and you don't work. Like, it's hard to find other moms to go hang out with because you're not involved in a small group. You're not meeting people at church. So a lot of women are craving that. And so if you go in and you say, "Hey, I'm starting a walkers group," or, "I'm hosting a workout," like, I guarantee you people will show up. My best friend invited this girl to our small group. She came, by the way. We've been walking with her through the Bible. We gave her a children's Bible. Like, it's been so cool. And my best friend literally invited her at the bank. And so that just shows that women, we crave community. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and invest in people. I personally love to go to coffee with people. So actually today after work, I'm going over to a girl's house and we're having coffee while our kids play. And I'm actually she just recently walked through some really hard stuff with postpartum depression. And so I actually decided to do a little series on my Instagram account coming up in the next week or so. And every week I'm going to highlight a woman and her health story and how she overcame some kind of health barrier. And so for me, this is a chance for me to reach out to Victoria and say, "Hey, I'd really love for you to share your story about how you overcame this postpartum depression." I think a lot of women struggle with that. It's a mental health issue. And so we're having coffee today to discuss it, but that's me building community. That's one thing that I love to do, guys, is get coffee with people. I love to hear people's stories. I am not a surface level person, and I think that has helped me in the business. Maybe it's my Southern roots of being nosy, but I love that. Like, I don't want you just to be a person in my challenge group. Like, I want you to be a person that I know I'm friends with, and I want to know what's going on in your life. And so, especially, I mean, it is hard for me, I'll be honest. It's hard for me to do that with people when I can't invite them over to my home. But I really try to, like, super duper over invest in the people that I have in my everyday life. And not even because I feel like I have to, but because honestly, I just want to. And so I think for a lot of people, this might be that you've got to step outside of your comfort zone. You've got to think about, how can I get intentional with people? Maybe it's just making a goal of getting coffee with one person a week. Look, we're busy mamas. Invite them over. Have them say, "Hey, I would love to have you come over. The kids can play. We can have coffee." And you can have such great conversation with women. Find out that they just feel exhausted chasing their kids because of all the weight they have left to lose. And then guess what? You say, "Oh, me and my friends are working out on Saturday morning. I would love to have you come." And it just snowballs from there. And so really step out of your comfort zone and invest in people. Be intentional. I think sometimes we just get so fast paced. We're at the grocery store and we're just super fast paced. Pray, ask God to give you the eyes to see the people that you need to talk to. This is an amazing way to just take a step into their lives. The next thing is invest in friends and have them over for workouts. Invite them over. So every few Saturdays, probably like every other or every 3 Saturdays, we invite people over to work out. And so we'll say, "Hey, just come over. Let's all work out in the garage." Sometimes I text people the night before. It's like Friday night. I'm like, "Hey, girl, you want to work out at 7:30 tomorrow?" And so it's super fun. This is a great way to just build community. And then sometimes they end up bringing one of their friends. And it's just super fun and super cool because a lot of times it allows me to meet other people. And so there's a girl, Lauren, and one week she brought like 3 of her friends. and I got to meet them. And then one of them ended up joining a challenge group. And so, it's just a great way to build community. This weekend, I'm actually hosting a big workout with a girl who's not even a Beachbody coach. She actually does CrossFit. Her name's Caitlin, and we're having a workout at my parents' barn. We're going to have like a little Christian DJ, and we're going to have a devotional. We're calling it, what did we decide to call it? It's like coffee workout. Well, maybe we called it Jesus Sweat Coffee. Actually, I think we might have. I don't know why I'm blanking right now. But we called it something. We made a little Evite and RSVP page, and we just invited a bunch of people. It doesn't cost anything. It's free. She's leading the workout, so it's not actually going to be a Beachbody workout, but it's still just going to be a chance to connect with women in my community and for my church, and to kind of invite them out to something. And so just get creative. It can be in your garage. It can be in your house. It can be, in your backyard. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy, but just building community with people. So that's my first thing for growing your network, is in-person building true community. Saying, hey, yeah, come, bring your friends. Like, it's going to be super fun. This is just a great way for you to get to know people. Okay, the second one is social media. All right, I know that all of you guys right now are like, oh, got to listen up to Caroline because, she has a lot of followers or XYZ. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I just know that that's what people think. And so let me just kind of tell you guys literally everything I do with my social media and my business and what that all looks like for me. And so first off, when I started Fit for His Glory, I told myself I'm going to build a brand. And so this may be different for every single person. But you first and foremost, before you can even step foot into the world of social media and growing your warm market through it, you've got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. There is a really great color wheel training on just your personality traits and what makes you you that's out there that Ali Tessitore did, who actually was on the National Wake Up Call today. I will put it in the comments after this call. But there's a color wheel training she did, and I have all of my new coaches do it. It's really great. You print it off, you write in the things that make you you, and then you focus on 4 of those things going forward with your brand. So I always tell people, I'm like, I know I'm in a good place when if Beachbody went away tomorrow, I could easily just pivot and do my own thing as Fit for His Glory. Now, I'm not saying that's what I want to do because I love Beachbody. But what I'm saying is I know I've created something that's not a Beachbody robot when I'm able to do that. I've created a strong brand, and I have positioned myself to really be able to reach people and grow my warm market. So I kind of have 6 things within this social media world. And that's kind of a lot, but we're just going to kind of dive into things here because this honestly has been a massive way that I've grown my business. Every single one of my coaches, except for maybe 5 or 6, have come from my relationships on social media, and it's just been a really great way for me to build my business. So number 1, I think this is huge, is that you've got to be teachable. You've got to invest and learn how to use social media. There's so many coaches I talk to who are like, how did you grow your following? How did you edit your pictures? How do you do XYZ? I research it. I figure it out. I talk to people. I have invested in trainings over the years of how to grow my social media, how to edit really awesome pictures. I mean, my pictures aren't amazing, but they're a lot better than they used to be. What are the best apps? Like, I spend time learning. And I think that's one thing that a lot of us have lost. Like, use it as part of your personal development. This is a business. Every business owner takes time to grow and learn and figure out how they can make their marketing better. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we as Beachbody coaches, 90% of what we are doing is, well, I won't say 90, say 50% of what we're doing is just pure marketing. We don't have to go and create products. We don't have to do, product launches, what we do for our own businesses, but from a marketing side. We don't have to go and film the workouts and do all of the logistical side. We don't even have to ship anything. Like, Beachbody makes it so easy for us, but we have to be really good marketers and really good at following through and serving people, right? And so if I'm going to be a really good marketer, I need to be learning about marketing. Okay. I have a degree in marketing. Okay. But that degree honestly doesn't do much for my business if I'm not constantly learning and constantly growing. You should take this really seriously, in my opinion. Like, you should take it very seriously. How can I really focus on marketing my business well, creating referrals, creating a strong social media presence, creating a true, strong brand? And so I invest in those things. I invest in things that are going to help me learn how to do that better. I learn from other people outside of the Beachbody bubble. That's one thing that I think a lot of coaches do, is they just get all these trainings from all these people who teach Beachbody coaches. Well, get outside that bubble. There are so many amazing podcasts and people who are doing things in other network marketing companies, who are doing things in other businesses, who are just like doing some amazing things, and you can learn a lot of stuff from them and honestly do some stuff the Beachbody coaches aren't doing yet. But if you're super focused on just learning from Beachbody coaches, you're going to be doing the same stuff that everyone else is doing. And so you got to be teachable. You got to get outside your market. The second thing is that you want to create engaging content, and you want to be consistent with posting. I see so many coaches who just post here and there, or they're not consistent, they're not disciplined with their posting. You're not going to see results that way. You've got to show up. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be disciplined. If you're posting on Instagram, be there for the next 30 minutes to comment back. Like, don't post on Instagram if you just need to post and go. Like, be there to engage with people and get back to them and reply to them, that kind of thing. So make sure that you're really creating engaging content. Take the time to think it through. Don't just throw something up because you're like, oh, need to post today. Guys, this is serious. This is your marketing. This is your brand. Take it seriously. It needs to pay into that. Don't be a Beachbody robot. Like, if you are posting pictures on Instagram and you're posting pictures with you and your Shakeology, like, decide what superfood shake, like, put that on Insta stories, number one. And number two, like, be careful with what you're saying. If it says Shakeology down the side of the bottle, if you say superfood shake, everyone knows it's a Shakeology cup, okay? So just be smart about the content you're putting out there. I'm gonna go a little bit faster because I feel like I'm just blabbering. But number four, bring value and truly serve. Like, are you truly serving your followers? I personally take it very seriously when someone presses follow on my Instagram account. Don't take it as a light thing. Like, it's a big deal. They said yes to you. They allowed you into their feed. And it's not something that you should just be like, oh, cool, they press follow, awesome. No, take it seriously. Bring them value. You want them to stick around. You want them to tell your friends about you. You want for them to show up and want to see what you had to say that day. And so make sure that you are bringing value and you're truly serving those people who said yes to you. One thing I do is that every day I add about 50 people on Instagram. I start following people that I think look like they may like my content. And then every single day, I message the last 20 new followers and say, hey, I just wanted to thank you so much for following me. It just means so much. I pray that God uses this content to bless you. Something along those lines. I don't think that's word for word. But I basically send them a message and tell them, thank you for letting me be a part of their feed and a part of their lives. Because it is a big deal and they're allowing you in. And so are you creating content that's really serving them? Create freemiums. Have things that they can use even if they don't say yes to the Beachbody Challenge group, right? Like, create things that are going to bring them value. And then the fifth thing is to talk to your people. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to meet the masses. This is what goes back to that color wheel and knowing who you're talking to. A lot of times in my posts, I'll say, hey, mama, or hey, sister, because they're my sisters in Christ, and I'm talking to a mama, or whatever. Like, be specific about who you're talking to. Be authentic and real. Talk like you talk to your friends. It doesn't have to be fake or some salesy looking pitch. Just talk like you talk to your people. And then number 6, always think, how can I make this better? I think that a lot of times we don't want to self-evaluate. We don't want to take a step back and think, what's working and what's not? Look at your posts. What posts are people engaging with? Okay, maybe that's an area where you could start to expand upon. think about how can you serve more people in it? How can you make it better? What are some things that you can bring to the table? One thing I noticed about me that I personally wanted to kind of make better was that I want for more women's stories to be told on my Instagram. And so that's why I'm creating this series where I'm going to be telling different women's stories of how they overcame health barriers. And so that's really big for me. So I kind of mentioned this, but just connecting, sending thank yous, using Instagram stories a lot. I use Instagram stories a lot. They have really, really helped me. Now, the third and final thing is to invest in your people and close the back door of your business. This is something that I haven't always done great. So just recently, I really had to step back and say, okay, what's the deal here? Why aren't more people sticking around? Why aren't more people staying on Home Direct? Why aren't more people showing up in my ongoing community? Why aren't more people becoming coaches because of the amazing experience they had with me? And so in that, I realized I had a hole in my business. And so I have done things to help close my back door. So one thing that people always message me about is they ask me about my headbands. So I wear these big, cute True North flexion headbands when I'm working out. And so just recently, I reached out to True North. They're making custom headbands for me that say Getting Fit for His Glory. And I'm going to send those to every single person who invests in a challenge pack. Hopefully they'll wear it and talk about it on their Instagram, how excited they are. And then that will create some referrals. I'm also creating referral cards that they'll get in the mail with their headband after they join a challenge group that just thanks them and says, hey, if you refer a friend, you get to be in one of my premium boot camps again. So just showing up and really giving my best, making sure I'm connecting with them, getting on a Zoom call, kind of having a virtual coffee chat with them to get to know their goals and really invest in them, because those are the people who are going to go talk about you. And word of mouth is one of the strongest things you can do as a coach. You want for people to start telling people about you and your account and the value that it brings to them every single day. That's the biggest compliment I can get, is when someone says, hey, so-and-so referred me to your account and I love it. Or so-and-so said that your challenge group was awesome and now I want to join. So start to think about how can you create those things. Don't go copy me to make headbands. What makes sense for you and your brand? Like, that makes sense for me because that's something people constantly ask me about. So just think about what can you do better. So now I'm going to just take a few minutes and take a few questions. And I'm so sorry, but I'm actually going to have to walk downstairs because I didn't realize that my computer was dying. But let's just take a quick second and see if anyone has any questions. You can drop them right here in the comments box. I try to keep this 30 minutes, so hopefully I didn't talk too fast for you guys. Should have had my computer plugged in before I did this. Sorry about that. Comments, questions. Drop them in the comments box for me, guys. No questions yet? Come on, guys, it's your chance. It's your chance to ask me anything you want. I'm sorry, my computer is about to die. Did you create actual business cards to hand out to people? No, I didn't, Jacqueline. I just kind of talk to people. And I'll just be like, you know, when we're talking about, well, what do you do? Or, you know, where do you work out? And then I'll tell them like, well, I run a little fitness business. It's called Fit for His Glory. You should totally check me out on Instagram. So that's kind of what I do. I don't actually have business cards. I think business cards are great. I just haven't actually ever created them. All right, Hannah asks, when you connect with ladies on Instagram, do you limit yourself to number of follow-ups, like 10 to 15 every day? So when I connect with ladies on Instagram, so for follow-ups, so basically what I do is I add 50 to 100 people a day. I find them through different accounts that I think if they're following that account, then they might like my content. I never go and follow people who are following other fitness accounts, just people who maybe enjoy. So for example, I'm giving this away, so I'm sure everyone's going to go do this. But Risen Motherhood podcast, I really love Risen Motherhood. And so I know that those are moms who love Jesus. And so I might go and look at the comments or the liked posts and go through and follow a bunch of people who have liked a photo, because I'm hoping that maybe they'll come over and they'll see my stuff. And so then that's kind of how I add people. And then I typically send, like, the last 20 people who message me each day, I have a little message that I send. I'll just read it to you guys. So I just copy and paste it and send it to them, to the last 20 followers. And this just goes such a long way for me, because people just get really into it and they love it. So let me see. I know and so a lot of times people will message me back, and it's just a great way to, create community on Instagram, and they just seem to think that it's just awesome that I take the time to message them. Like, I get so many messages back that are just like, thank you so much for taking the time to message me back. Like, this just meant so much that you would do that, with all your followers and stuff like that. That's kind of what they say. So I think things like that just make you stick out in a world of, lots of people trying to post and all this. It's like how you're going to really create community. So I'm trying to find an example. Sorry guys, I have lots of tagged posts on here from you guys. But I can message it to you guys or put it in the bottom. But basically, I just tell them thank you for following me, and let me know if they ever need anything in their health and fitness journey. And so you just never know. But I do limit myself to those 20 just because at the end of the day, you can always do more, and you just kind of have to have a number there. Good. I'm so glad it was great, Mindy. Prior to your referral card idea. Okay, sorry, Jacqueline. I'm not sure. I think it might have cut you off. What do you use, a specific tracker, Google Sheets, or Teamsy? I actually use Google Streak. So when people email me or anything like that, I do follow-ups on Google Streak. That just seems to work best for me. I do, I also have a Excel, that I just kind of keep up with people with all of my invites. So that's how I keep up with all my invites and who I invited that day. So I use Google Streak for emails and follow-ups for challenge groups and all that good stuff. And then I use Excel for all of my invites. How do you keep up with all the new IG followers you're adding? Do you message them every few days to build a relationship? Yeah, so you are adding. No, actually I don't. How do you keep up with the new IG followers you're adding? I actually really don't, to be honest. Kind of just go through and follow them and then hope they'll follow me back. That's why I have a lot of people that I'm following, but I hope that maybe as I'm seeing their stuff and engaging with it on Instagram, that someone will stick out and then I'll write their name down. So as I'm keeping my Excel going, I'm writing people's name down of the people I invited that day, but I'm not necessarily messaging all those people back. Honestly, I just don't have time. How hard did you work your business? Working full time. Yep, I do it in pockets of my day, Brittany. So I'm going to be talking about that next week. But right now, I took my lunch break at 11, a little early, and I get up at 5:30. So I start working at 9. So that's a lot of time. And then my daughter goes to bed at 7:30. So 2 nights a week, me and my husband have an agreement. And I'll be totally honest with you guys. I also have an assistant who helps me 5 hours a week. I'm not saying that to say that everyone needs that, but right now in my life, I just need that extra help. And so she sends a lot of those Instagram messages for me, the ones where it's thank you for following me. And she does all my Google Streak. When people fill out a Google form about wanting information on challenge groups, she sends them an email. So for me right now, it makes more sense to pay her $50 a week to help me than for me to leave my full-time job right now. And so it's just, investing in my business, honestly. So I know not everyone can do that, but that's just kind of how I've made it work. Let's see. What is your best advice for keeping people using the shakes? Yeah, Courtney, it's hard. Sorry, lots of questions on here. It is hard to get people to stay on the shakes, but I think investing them and serving them and letting them see the value of it, really making sure that they understand what it is, that it's not a protein shake. I think you've just really got to educate people because people don't know what it is. And so you have to really help them understand. So I hope that helps. how long do you spend on Instagram each day? I mean, I have an app, so I shared this at the Team Iron Dinner. I have an app called Moments, and I limit my screen time. So today I've been on my phone 12 minutes so far, which is kind of surprising. I feel like it's been longer than that. But so I limit my screen time. Obviously, like I work a full-time job, so I might be out in a meeting and checking my phone for emails and things like that for Red Bull for my full-time job. But I honestly am not on Instagram all that much. Like I'll post my stories and then hop off. And then, you know, before bed every night, I'll just hop on and kind of answer everyone back. And as I have like a minute, you know, I just kind of use Power Pockets. Like if I'm going to a meeting to meet someone and I get there like 5 minutes early, I'll sit in my car and message people back. Or if I'm waiting on someone to call me and because we have a conference call and I've got a lot of my work done, then I'll just hop on my Instagram and kind of message people back. So it's just really about like jumping in on those power pockets. So I hope that helps. And I'll talk about that more next week. But I definitely don't spend like tons and tons of time. But like I said, I do have my assistant who helps me send a lot of those messages. I hope this was helpful, you guys. I'm just seeing if how many hours a day do you spend? Kind of already talked about that. I will say this though, guys. I totally believe this is all doable for someone who's a stay-at-home mom. If your kids are taking a good nap, I know for me, like on Saturdays or days when I take off, like last week I took off Thursday, Friday. So it's kind of like I get that stay-at-home mom feel. And I worked on my business during her nap time. She slept for 2 hours, 2.5 sometimes 3. And so I got so much done. But again, I think you've got to get up at 5:30. You've got to own your morning. If you're not owning your morning, you're not going to be able to fit all this in. And so I think that owning your morning is a massive part of honestly doing this business and doing it well. So I think that all of this is doable during that time. And then, you know, as you make the money, investing in people to help you if you need to. I think that people seem to think like, you know, they can't do that. But I mean, this is a business and you're going to have to invest sometimes. Again, for me, it's worth it more to pay Abby, my assistant, to help me do some stuff, $50 a week. So she works 5 hours. And so, all right. Any other questions? I think that looks like everything. Yes. If you don't have a nap time, I'm sorry. Let's see. I think I need to move my morning activities around to fit in my business hours then. Yeah, definitely, Missy. I mean, getting up at 5:30 is, you got to have it. Like I get up at 5:30. So those of you who are wondering my schedule, and I'll talk about this in the Power Buckets, but I get up at 5:30. I spend about 45 minutes with Jesus. And then 6:15 to about 7, I work on my business, check in with all my groups, post on social media. I plan and schedule all my groups on the Friday before. So everything is scheduled out. So I don't have to do that every day. And just check in with people and all that good stuff. And then she's up and I'm all hers. And then we'll typically go out to the garage and work out around 7:30, 30-minute workout, 8 o'clock. You know, I'm getting ready for work and getting more stuff done. Super jealous that my people get up early without their kids, joining them every time. It's like, kids. Yeah, Mindy, if your child does not sleep with the sound machine, you need to, because I turn that thing up and she cannot hear anything that's going on. What do I use to schedule? I use Facebook to schedule everything that's on Facebook, and then my Challenge Tracker app to schedule everything on there. I don't schedule my Instagram posts. I just kind of write them out on my phone, and then I post them that morning. And, you know, that's kind of what I do. This training was really helpful and grateful. Good. I'm just trying to make sure I got all the questions. But yes, again, we will talk more about all of this next week. But let me say this real quick. If you're like, I can never get up early, you're wrong. Start praying for discipline, because you can. So all of you watching this video and you're like, oh my goodness, I feel so overwhelmed. This is a business. You're in this training because you want to invest in it as a business. So figure out what your weekend. Let's put a game plan together. Make sure you get your 5 done today. Comment below with a picture of it. And I'll talk to you guys next week when I talk about Power Pockets in my day. Have a good one.